Excel has some extremely powerful features for calculating numbers. In this lesson we'll look at how Excel performs calculations by using simple basic formulas. I've got a new blank worksheet open and I'm just going to enter some numbers to allow us to perform some very basic calculations. So let's enter some simple numbers. Okay, so we've got some simple numbers in here, and in just a minute we'll see how we use formulas to calculate these numbers. But before we do, let's just have a look at the mathematical operators we're going to be using. These are the four main operators. We've got addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And from your school days you'll probably remember the symbols we used to do these different functions. In computer terms, addition and subtraction use the same symbols that we may well be used to. Multiplication, however, uses the asterisk symbol. So instead of using the X, we use the asterisk. And likewise the division symbol, which is aligned with two dots, has become the /. So these are the symbols we'll use to perform these particular operations. Okay, so my cursor's in cell C1 and my intention is to add this figure to this figure. So 2 plus 3 hopefully will give us the answer of 5. I'm in cell C1, so I simply need to type in the formula. Now whenever we want to type a formula in Excel, we always start with the equal sign. That tells Excel that we're about to enter a formula. Now we could take these numbers literally and simply type in 2 plus 3. And when we press enter, we get the answer 5. And that works well, except for one thing. If we change one of these numbers, let's change this 2 to a 4. When we do, our result stays the same. And in this case, that's not a good thing. What we want this figure to do is to update every time we change our original data. So I'm going to pop this number back to 2. And I'm going to come and have another look at this formula. Notice that when I select a cell containing a formula, the cell itself contains the resulting value of that formula, whereas up in the formula bar it shows us the actual formula we're using. And we can edit that formula in this area here. So if I click, I'll get my cursor, and I don't want to use hard numbers. I actually want to use the cell references in my formula. That way the formula will be dynamic and update when the data is changed. So instead of using hard numbers, I'll use the cell references. I've got my equal sign in, so Excel knows I'm about to enter a formula, and I'm going to type in A1. And it doesn't matter if you use upper or lower cases, Excel can handle either. So I've got A1. I'm now going to type in the plus, and I want that to be added to cell B1. So I'll type in B1. There's my formula. I'm now going to press enter, and again the result is 5. But let's go back now and change this value in cell A1 from 2 to 4, just like we did before. So I'll type in the 4 and press enter, and this time you'll see that the value in cell C1 has updated. So it's important to remember we must use cell references rather than the actual data that we can see in the cells. So this is a very simple formula that adds the contents of one cell to the contents of another. Okay, let's see how subtraction works. I'm going to come down to cell C2, and my intention this time is to take this number and subtract this number from it. So with my cursor in cell C2, I'm going to enter the equal sign. Excel now knows that I'm going to enter a formula. And I'm going to type in the cell reference A2 minus B2. And when I've done that, I'll press enter. And there's the result. 4 minus 4 obviously gives us 0. Let's just go back and have a look at that formula in the formula bar. So we've got equals A2 minus B2. Multiplication and division work in exactly the same way. Let's go to cell C3 and this time we'll do a multiplication. We want to multiply the contents of cell A3, which is 6, by the contents of cell B3, which is 5. So again, we start with an equal sign. We'll type in the reference A3. This time we'll use the multiply symbol, the asterisk, and then the cell reference B3. We'll press enter, and there's the result, 30. One last one. We'll take this number this time and divide it by this number. So my cursor's in cell C4. We'll start with a formula, so we enter equals. And at this point, I'm not going to type the cell reference in. I'm going to use my cursor and click. When I do, Excel will do the typing for me. So it's placed A4 there. All I need to do now is to type in the division sign, which is the /, and then I can click on the cell that I want to divide it by. In this case, B4. Excel will put the B4 in there for me. Now all I need to do is press enter. So 8 divided by 4 gives me a result of 2. The formulas themselves are not normally displayed in the worksheet. However, the values are. Sometimes it may be necessary to review the formula rather than see the data. You can display the formula instead of the values by coming up to the Formulas toolbar and selecting Show Formulas. And when we do that, we can now review all the formulas that we've entered. To switch back to normal view, we simply click the Show Formulas button again, and we're back to the standard view. So that's how we create simple formulas in Excel. You can close this worksheet now, but we don't need to save it.